Africa is home to the world's youngest population, yet the continent faces one of the highest youth unemployment rates globally. Oh my
God! That there's brilliant minds in Africa, the most brilliant minds. This is where intelligence was created in the various nations. So excited to see the young, brilliant minds. Africa also has the youngest population and the most amount of entrepreneurs and the amount of skill sets that they have and motivation and interest in the digital revolution.
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television.
Welcome back from that. Now we already know that Africa is home to the world's youngest population, yet the continent faces one of the highest youth unemployment rates globally. At the same time, the digital economy is projected by the World Bank to add over $180 billion to the Africa's GDP by 2026 if the right skill gap is closed. Now the big question is this: who is training Africa's young people for the jobs of the future? How do we ensure no one is truly left behind? Today on Razep Africa show, we spotlight tech development, digital skills, and innovation through a work a woman is doing, not just talking about Africa's tech future, but actively building it. Today we have Carlita Cash, who is our guest this morning. She's a tech leader and educator committed to equipping young Africans with practical digital skills, preparing them for the global opportunities that are inherent, and challenging systematic barriers within Africa's ecosystem. The conversation today is going to go beyond coding. It's about access, it's about equality, sustainability, and the future of work in Africa. Carlita, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joy. I appreciate it.
Carlita, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so we are still working to ensure that Carlita's connection is fixed, right? Okay, I think I can see you there. Hi, Carlita.
Hello, thank you for having me, Dr. Joy.
Okay, good to know. I mean, it's super early. I'm happy you were able to make it this morning. Carlita is joining us virtually from the US this morning to discuss all of this. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's go straight to the very beginning. Carlita, what drew you into technology, especially as a woman? I know there's that stereotype, oh, you're a woman, tech is for men, but what drew you to technology and digital skill development?
Yes, so I actually used to do nursing. I worked in oil and gas as well. And a friend of mine actually had reached out to me and asked if I wanted to learn about cryptocurrency and blockchain. And, to my amazement, I started to learn it and to understand it. And I pretty much went down a rabbit hole of information. And here in Canada, not a lot of people at the time when I was learning about cryptocurrency and blockchain, I got into it and I said to myself, you know, this is something that is the future. This is something that's going to be impactful, especially to our community, to Africans and African diaspora around the globe, especially here in Toronto, Canada. And so that's essentially how I got involved in it. And I've never turned back, and I have a passion for it to teach others about it as well.
Noble. A lot of us stumbled on it and thought it was way too much for us. So how have you over the years navigated? Did you abandon nursing to focus on this, or you're balancing it?
Yes, I actually fully got into the cryptocurrency, and now I do this full time. This is now my passion. I go all over Africa. I go all over the Caribbean, South Africa, the US, and all over the globe to teach it. And this is now what I'm doing full time.
Okay, so you love Africa. You've not hidden that fact. You're constantly saying how much you love Nigeria, you love Ghana. I mean, why Africa? And I know the work you are beginning to do in Africa in the knowledge transfer, training young Africans. That is a passion for you. But why?
Well, I have to definitely honor my parents when I say, even though I was born here in Toronto, Canada, my parents are Jamaican and Brazilian. They always told us about our roots, which are in Africa. You know, that's the motherland, the center of humanity. And so my parents have always instilled in us and myself and my siblings that Africa is where we come from originally. And so I thought to give back to my community. And, you know, I have a lot of African born friends here in Canada as well. And so I said, you know what, this is something that I have a passion for and that I need to go to Africa. And when I essentially went to Africa for the first time in various countries, this is when I decided this is something that is going to create an even playing field in Africa and in every nation here. And so that is how I got started.
So how do you now, if you have to describe the tech ecosystem in Africa, how did you find it? I know we do have a growing number of young people who are very tech savvy, walk around a tech ecosystem. However, they are often excluded in a lot, and especially potential revenue. How did you find the tech ecosystem?
It's definitely growing and booming in African nations. The great thing about Africa is the next generation is young, has the youngest population on the globe. They're brilliant, deeply motivated, and innovative. But you know, it can't just be talent alone. We have to create an infrastructure for it and the various nations. But we're seeing nations like Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, and various places really ramping up their technology and the ecosystem there. And so it's amazing to see it developing and to, you know, to see what truly matters in and empowering the young people to focus on technology and seeing how fast it's moving.
What would you say the biggest infrastructure deficit is when it comes to improving tech in Africa?
I would definitely have to say the infrastructure like power and resources like that, natural resources, when it comes to being able to connect with the rest of the globe. I definitely think this is something that needs to definitely be developed and creating that ecosystem within the various schooling systems of education when it comes down to it. When we look at digital education, this is something that the governments, the private sectors definitely have to be cohesive and work together. in order to bring the communities up to par.
I mean, in your engagement, do you see efforts to indeed start working on this infrastructure? You mentioned education. We still have curriculums that are not updated. How does that make you feel?
Yes, definitely. We want to make sure that the various African nations are on an even playing field and not left out of this new digital revolution. So we're seeing a little bit of interest from the rest of the globe and wanting to come, but when it comes to my passion and what I'm really focused on is bringing the diaspora, African diaspora, to Africa and investing and not just taking from Africa like we've seen in the past happen, but actually investing in it and hiring young people, young, innovative, motivated people, and being able to create resources. Africa has the most amount of resources on the globe. So utilizing those things and being able to really rev up the digital revolution.
You are just but one individual, and there's so much work to be done across Africa. I mean, 1.4 billion people, and with the growing young population, active, energetic, and intelligent people. However, how do you hope to spread this? And I'm not trying to overwhelm you now by bringing these numbers to you right now, but what's the larger goal for you when you sit down and try to look to the future? What do you see?
Yeah, I definitely see, maybe speaking to different governing bodies. When we look at infrastructure and policy playing a critical role in Africa's digital growth, there's a lot of challenges. So speaking to those that have the power, the challenges like the inconsistent internet access, power supply, unclear regulations can really slow the progress of it all. But they're not permanent barriers, which is good. So we need to start collaborating and being able to work with governments and educators and those private sectors that I had mentioned, and being able to realize that the diaspora and the people with the power definitely need to work together in order to see that change and foresee that change as well.
We have an unfortunate stereotype. Sometimes when you have conversations with some individuals, especially outside Africa, you hear how Africans are fraudulent. That stereotype about the narrative that African youths are all fraudulent, they engage in internet fraud and all of that. How has that changed your perception rather, and how you hope to penetrate this continent and change that narrative, and rather get young people who have digital skills, however raw it may be, get them to be productive too?
Yeah, so Galali, that's a wonderful question. That's something that definitely needs to change. Deep within my heart, I've never felt that because I have a lot of friends that were born in various nations in Africa, and so I know the truth. But this is something that the world needs to see. That there's brilliant minds in Africa, the most brilliant minds. This is where intelligence was created in the various nations. And so building that next generation to foresee that, there's various skills throughout African youth and to utilize it. When I was recently in Nigeria a couple months ago at a conference, and I was so excited to see the young, brilliant minds. Africa also has the youngest population and the most amount of entrepreneurs and the amount of skill sets that they have and motivation and interest in the digital revolution. And so I think the globe is going to start to see the different ways that youth in Africa are growing and implementing these different types of technology. It's something that the globe won't be able to deny, as in the past, the universe, the different nations have been trying to downplay African nations. It's going to be unstoppable, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the African youth are going to be coming up with, and the innovation that's going to be coming from this new digital revolution.
Now let's talk about your organization, that Afritech. What is it you do exactly, and how can young people get those employability skills or hands-on skills that gets them employable?
Yes, so Afritech, what we actually do, we don't just educate individuals, African diaspora, and Africans on what cryptocurrency is, what blockchain is, and what Web3 is. We also do full capacity. So it's also a plug and play. And so we're after we do the training, we're plugging individuals or organizations into the blockchain technology, how to integrate it into their systems or organizations, into governing policies as well, into agriculture, healthcare, what you may have it. And so they're taking these skills and being able to utilize them, not just utilizing them within their own faucets or communities, but they're able to take these skills and go to different places and implement them as well. And so this is where it all begins in understanding what cryptocurrency is, what blockchain is, what Web3 is, and realizing this is something that's not going to go away. We're just getting started, and Africa can definitely be the hub of cryptocurrency. We're seeing other nations doing that, but this is something that can really, really rev up the economy in different African nations.
Across the world who do not even understand, especially in Africa, who do not understand the concept of Web3, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and all of that. And they have, over the years, been hostile. In fact, Nigeria recorded several setbacks and barriers that made trading very difficult. It became a very aggressive conversation between government and young people who say, we would want to sit down and tell you how you as a country and continent can and benefit from the blockchain sector or industry. How do you think these conversations can better be had? Because governments do not understand this. Central banks across Africa have opposed it, unfortunately, as well. But how do you think we could have that conversation for mutual benefit?
Yes, and so I think what's going to have to happen is we're going to start to have more open conversations. So what we do in Afritech, we do have conversations with various governments, and we talk to them about the importance of educating different communities within their countries about cryptocurrency. The great thing about it is, for example, Ghana in December just legalized cryptocurrency. And so we're starting to see, and Nigeria as well, are working on, regulating blockchain and cryptocurrency, Web3, and having these discussions. So a lot of the time, there's a lot of things that there are myths out there, and we're seeing the negative side or the negative conversations about cryptocurrency, but now we're starting to have positive conversations. And now this is going to be the driving force and bringing these type of conversations in the right directions, as we're seeing examples like El Salvador has implemented Bitcoin as their currency. So we're going to start to see more nations in Africa adapt, have mass adoption.
That's true, but that regulation that Nigeria, the governments across the world are unable to have, and because there's the peer-to-peer option where there's almost no government interference in the transactions that happen. For instance, in May last year, 2024, the government came up with a framework, one that was supposed to delist Nigerian naira from peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchange. And unfortunately, it is taxed. This individual cryptocurrency transaction is taxed at the maximum rather of 25%. That right there is a setback, and I had spoken to a lot of young people in that space that cried out to say this is unfair. Instead of tax figures like this, why don't you bring us together and see how we can mutually benefit? But I'm happy that you're recording all these successes in government who are beginning to be more receptive to the concept and all of that. However, young people are beginning to find other routes. What's the danger in the government not having that pool of the legitimate traders within that sector?
Yes. So the thing about cryptocurrency, there is no control of cryptocurrency. There's no middleman. The good thing about it is it's fast, it's borderless, it's designed for the global economy. So there is no governing bodies, as I like to say. And so there's always going to be a discussion between banks, governments, about regulation. When it comes to the taxes, there's I don't want to say too much about it. I don't want to revel up the feathers. But there are definitely going to be taxing of cryptocurrency that happens here in Canada, the States, and various places. But what cryptocurrency does, it still brings freedom to the people. As you had mentioned with the B2B and trading and things like that, it does still give power to the people. So it can be regulated, it can't be controlled.
Now we'll go for a short break. Carlita, hang in there. We'll be right back. When we return, we will be discussing so much. How can you too, listening to us and watching us, be part of this sector that even the World Bank has told you has the potential for 180 billion into Africa. This is RAZEP Africa, where we've been discussing what a cryptocurrency is, the blockchain technology, Web3, and we've been discussing all of this with Carlita Cash, a digital entrepreneur, joining us all the way from Canada to discuss what she's been doing to ensure young people across Africa even know what it is, how they can benefit from what a lot have referred to the next oil. The next oil, that's how much potential there is in that sector. How prepared is African youth? How prepared is African government to tap into this, prepare young people? Why do we not have tech hubs across Africa that even gives you that knowledge? We've had young people in Africa having to be self-taught by all sorts and resilient young people, I must say. Carlita will be joining us from Canada, and immediately we connect with her again, we would get into the conversation on how young people, parents also can know about tech careers. That's often the barriers as well, where parents are like, listen, all I hear about tech is the fraud that happens. I don't want you to do Yahoo. Our security and law enforcement would sometimes go as far as going through your systems and phones and all of that, just to be sure of what it is. That's how much a lot we do not know about this. Carlita, it's good to connect with you again. Thank you so much for staying awake. I know it's super early. Thank you so much for staying with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Dr. Joy.
Right. I was just talking about how uncharted this path is for a lot of us back here. But I would just like us to go straight to what you think parents should know when young people say, I want careers in tech. Because it's obvious. Technology, AI, is indeed the job of the future to look out for. But because we don't know what's going on there, some parents oppose it. Again, because of the stereotypes we had mentioned before.
Absolutely. So I think parents need to kind of have an open mind when it comes to technology. We have to look at how things are changing, how times are changing, and realize that this is the future. And so when the youth, the young people are getting ahead of the curve and getting into tech now, this is something that is unstoppable. It's something that we're seeing in universities. University of Ghana, about 2 years now, is actually has a blockchain course. So you're going to start to see around the globe, including many African nations, having cryptocurrency courses, blockchain courses in university. A lot of people don't even realize that we have Bitcoin ATMs in various cities, towns, many different nations. So these children that are youth that are interested in tech, this is now the future. So it's not the standard to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. Now we are moving into the digital revolution. And it's a good thing to get ahead of the curve and to get involved into the various types of technology that is available to us. And this is going to streamline a lot of the things that we never thought could be possible. But now they have many options. So this is something that parents don't necessarily need to be afraid in, say, for example, job security. This is the future, and this is what we're moving into.
Speaking about fear, AI and automation is reshaping everything, including jobs globally. Speaking about fear, where should we be? I mean, you hear people tell you how AI is going to take over jobs and everything is going to be automated and you will no longer have jobs. But how can African youths prepare for that? And is there an opportunity instead of this threat?
Yes, absolutely. I always like to say to my clients, don't be afraid, don't have any fear, embrace. So, not that AI is going to necessarily take jobs away, but we're going to start to see positions changing. So, we're utilizing AI. So, for example, people are utilizing ChatGPT, people are utilizing, various AI technologies, for example, like Gamma to produce presentations and things like this, just like how we saw PowerPoint creating different presentations. Now we're just utilizing AI to make things a little easier for us. So it's not something that we should necessarily be afraid of. What we should be afraid of is not implementing it into our educational system and getting on board and getting on this train that we're going to be able to do a little more, make our lives a lot easier when we implement these new tools that are available to us. So the thing to be afraid of is if we don't implement and if we don't educate ourselves on these various tools that we have in front of us, we're going to be behind, and it's going to be a very negative impact on our youth if we don't get on track.
We've established that infrastructure that would enable this is low. So my question now will be, how can young people start with little or no resources and maybe no government support whatsoever? What would you advise resilient Africans, young Africans, to do just so that we are not again a tech-consuming continent, but one that's innovative and contributing?
Yes, I would definitely say for the youth to educate themselves on it. So what Afritech does is we do educate, youth. We do educate young adults. We have various programs. There's many different programs available to youth. Research and do your own research and information on what's available to you. We're in the digital age now where there's a lot of information out there, far more than when I was growing up. So the youth, we have to do our diligence to get ahead of the curve, and to, before we start to see a lot of these policies and laws and education being implemented in various schools and whatnot. We have to do our own due diligence to make sure that we're at least educating ourselves on it. Quick Google searches, YouTube can definitely lead you down a rabbit hole. But programs like ours, like AfriTech, will definitely teach you what you need to learn and understand with this new form of technology, what it is, and to realize that it's life-changing, it's groundbreaking.
And I know you're very passionate about women as well, but women are very much underrepresented in the tech space. Why is that? And how can this be dismantled? These barriers that young women face within the tech space across Africa, how can it be dismantled?
Yes, women in underserved communities, must be intentionally included when it comes to Africa's tech future. When women are educated in technology, the impact multiplies. So families, businesses, communities rise with them. So inclusion isn't charity, it's strategy. Diverse voices create stronger, more relevant innovation. So we need more programs that meet people where they are, remove intimidation around technology, show women and marginalized groups that there's a place for them and that they belong at the table. And this definitely needs to happen. We're starting to see the importance of this around the globe and in Africa as well. And this is something that we definitely, especially as entrepreneurs and business owners and whatnot, we need to start focusing more on women in underdeveloped areas, especially. For example, Afritech, we just signed a contract with one of the states in Nigeria, and we're looking at training women as well and getting them in on the even playing field in various locations. And so this is something that we definitely have to strategize and look forward to, and make sure that we're purposefully looking to educate women and making sure that they're a part of this movement as well.
Wow, that's quite noble right there, and the work that you do to ensure inclusivity. Now, what would you say to a young girl listening to you right now and to wondering, can I be Carlita?
Absolutely. This is something dear to my heart. Myself, I used to be such a quiet, reserved young woman, and thought there was only one pathway for me, where my parents said, okay, you're gonna do this. This is the education that you're gonna be doing. These are the courses that you need to be taking. But as you grow older and you realize, you have to make your own path. Yes, your parents can encourage you to do very well, which is a great thing. But young women, please don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Have the will, have the power to realize that you need to make your own decisions, and that you can step into the world of technology. This is something that's for everyone. When it comes to cryptocurrency, that's dear to my heart. It was created for everyone, not for men, not for women, for everyone. Doesn't matter what race, creed, religion. It's something that was created for everyone to utilize on this globe. And so, as a young woman, please don't feel fear. Educate yourself. Make sure that you are understanding and step outside of your comfort zone. And no matter what anybody says to you, learn and educate and become very willful. And you can become powerful by utilizing this type of technology.
Absolutely, thank you so much for that. However, have you had opportunities to partner with others just like you? I know a lot happens. Everyone is doing their thing isolatively, but what are you doing to partner with other like minds so that you reach far?
Absolutely, especially when it comes to Africa. I'm always looking to partner, collaborate with individuals who are like-minded in the tech field as well. I'm always looking for women, especially, to take over the globe. And so I am absolutely meeting wonderful entrepreneurs and people who are tech savvy in various nations, and I'm continually looking to collaborate. So I always encourage people to reach out to me on whether it's Instagram, and to let me know what you want to collaborate on. There's many projects. We're just getting started, and so that's the exciting part as well. It's an industry that is starting to grow, and it's becoming very, very powerful in Africa, in Nigeria as well. Many young, innovative, intellectual minds there. And so I really open to the opportunity to always work with young women, with young individuals, men as well, and to really get the ball rolling when it comes to technology.
That's exciting. So what are your toughest challenges in the work that you do, especially across Africa? What would you say, if only these were taken away, everything, I mean, it could be policy gaps that are slowing the progress, but what would, in your words, Afritech, what has been your toughest challenge?
Yes, mindset. I would definitely say the mindset of people that we come across. A lot of people are scared to take that risk. And I always say, in life, if you don't take risks, you're not going to get very far. The same way I took a risk, I was in a corporate job in oil and gas, as well as nursing, and I decided to step outside of my comfort zone, something that I had no idea about. But once I got into it, I realized there's so many opportunities. So I always, that's one of the biggest challenges, is the mindset of whether it's politicians or people within the government, working with clients on a day-to-day basis, different communities, is the mindset, and getting people to realize not to be afraid, and to understand that, just because you're not used to it, or you've heard negative, news or media about it, is that it can't be true, or it's not going anywhere, and things like that. So it always comes down to the education, and once people understand and are educated on it, then it becomes clear as day. But that I would say would be the biggest challenge. But it's changing. It's changing very quickly. People are realizing that this is now the forefront of people's minds, and you're going to start to see various governments, various countries starting to implement a lot of new policies.
One of the misconceptions that follow cryptocurrency, blockchain, technology, and all of that is that when you get into that, you would definitely be rich overnight. That's something I would like you to just address right here. You won't put too much work, and in fact, it's been advertised brazenly on social media, almost as if it's some come get rich overnight kind of scheme, which has made a lot of people very skeptical of it generally. But if you have to address that, what would you say?
Absolutely. So this is something that I like to tell individual, this is something that you're going to want to pass down to the next generation. Cryptocurrency, yes, there have been many people. Crypto's made a lot of multimillionaires over the years. It's one of the major assets to create millionaires. Yes, that can absolutely happen, but it is not a get rich quick scheme. This is something that you want to take your time to learn it, to understand it, to invest. The great thing about it is that you can invest in it and you can leave it, not touch it, and watch your assets grow and watch, the amount of money that you make grow as well. But you have to be very strategic and which cryptocurrency you're choosing and things like that. So it's a mindset thing for sure. A lot of people want to just get quick, rich quick, and jump out of it. This is something that you're going to want to pass down. This is creating generational wealth. And just like other assets, when you talk about real estate, stocks and bonds and things like that, you don't look at it as in a get rich quick type of asset. So you want to do the same thing with cryptocurrency. This is something that you're going to want to leave in your will for your children and your children's children. So we have to change our mindset and thinking of making money quickly and utilizing and spending money quickly. This is something that we definitely want to hold on to. This is something extremely valuable. And so when you have something valuable, you want to hold on to it. And that's how I like to describe this type of asset.
That's so good to know what you do. But final question right here as we have come to the end of this. For people, again, I would like you to, tell people how they can reach you, and if there are trainings available. Do you have digital books that they can also get their hands on, just so that they will have a good idea? And if you have trainings, I would like to know, for people who want to connect with you and learn so much about what you do.
Absolutely. So the best way to reach us is on Instagram or through our website. My Instagram is Cash, Cash, Carlita, Carlita. And we also have our website, which is www.afritechsolutions with an S .ca. And so we have courses. We have beginners, intermediate, and advanced on cryptocurrency, on blockchain, on Web3. And we definitely will be having a children's book coming out in a couple months as well, a cryptocurrency child's book. We're going to be having it in different, translated in different languages as well, different tribal languages. And this is going to be something huge where you're going to be able to have it digitally. So we do have our digital courses, and we also do one-on-one training and organizational trainings as well. So please reach out. Again, it's Cash, Cash, Carlita, Carlita. That's my Instagram. Please send me a DM and we'll definitely help you at AfriTech.
Thank you so much, Carlita. You are indeed a tech leader, one who is very poised and passionate about helping young people. More grace to you and the work that you do. I hope you are able to expand and we see that vibrant young people benefit from what you do, cryptocurrency and tech.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Joy. It's been a pleasure.
Now, this is where we end today's show. It's been wonderful discussing tech, but unfortunately, we've run out of time. But rest assured, we'll be back next time to discuss more. Until then, love Africa.
Welcome to Razeb Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television.